I've rambled a bit about DDR in a general sense, but now it's time to get into the actual games themselves. Once again, this is mostly about the arcade releases, not the console ones. Since I've already covered Dance Dance Revolution First Mix, let's move on to Second Mix. Released on January 1999, 4 months after the inaugural game, Second Mix brought little new to the core gameplay, though it did introduce notes that were 1/12th and 1/16th in value. The lack of gameplay changes was made up for with a slew of inventive ideas, some of which became series staples, and some of which were short-lived. Second Mix is the first DDR game to include the roulette, which is the series version of a random select. Good luck to you if you end up getting Paranoia or Trip Machine or their variants on Maniac. On top of that, Second Mix is the only DDR game to feature cross-game play, as in crossing over with a completely different game for a cooperative gameplay experience. A separate new version of Second Mix, titled Club Version, allowed for connectivity with another game in the Bemani family, Beatmania, or more specifically, Beatmania 2DX. Connection granted access to songs formerly exclusive to that title, but not without some caveats. One caveat is that both games must be linked to each other. If not, tough luck. The other caveat is that the only available difficulty was basic. Well, in Second Mix anyway. Don't really know if that's true for 2DX as well. That is, until the next iteration, Club Version 2, with 2DX Substream, which connected with a second 2DX game, Substream. Duh! This would mark the only time that Dance Dance Revolution had cooperative play with another game. This feature has since remained exclusive to 2 other Bemani titles, Guitar Freaks and Drum Mania. By the by, those games came first, not Guitar Hero or Rock Band. Third Mix mostly stuck to the formula of the past 2 mixes, but brought enough changes that allowed it to stand out as its own game, whether it's as small as new lines from the in-game announcer, or as large as a difficulty spike from the last mix. Third Mix was, by all accounts, a far harder game than the last 2 installments, with its expanded and still top-notch song list boasting more complex or just plain draining new patterns. To accommodate this difficulty spike, the level scale was raised from 1 to 8 to 1 to 9, with level 9 given the apt distinction Catastrophic, or Kata, or 9-footer in DDR parlance. Standout licensed songs from this mix include Captain Jack Grandal remix by the eponymous Eurodance group Captain Jack, frontman by the late Frankie G, Dam Daddy Dam by Joga, and a cover of Irene Kara's Flashdance by Magica. On the Konami original side of things, there's Silent Hill, not that one, that one, Afronova, Dead End, and Dynamite Rave. These songs are once again composed by our good old friend Naoki, with Afronova and Dead End being made under separate aliases, Revenge for Afronova and DNNS for Dead End. Try saying that 5 times in a row fast. A new mode introduced in third mix was the non-stop mode, where, as the name implies, you play through a gauntlet of songs without taking any breaks. A true test of stamina in a game series already known for pushing the human body to new heights. Since this game, non-stop mode has been a DDR staple, appearing in almost every other game. Almost. Like its predecessors, Third Mix also spawned a few variations of its own. 2 versions exclusive to Korea that traded a portion of the base licensed song list for homegrown K-pop music, and a watered-down Asian version with none of the licensed songs from the original and Korean versions. Kinda sucks that those countries got the short end of the stick. Luckily, an update entitled Third Mix Plus had come out on June of 2000, containing most if not all songs in every version of this mix. Oh, and Third Mix marks the first game in the series to use the digital version of the System 573 arcade board. Fourth Mix felt even more like a sequel because it had the makings of a sequel. It carried more than one element that set it apart from the first 3 games. Fitting for the installment in the series released in the new millennium, August of 2000 to be exact. First is the interface, which puts a new spin on the jukebox aesthetics and opts to have the songs arranged horizontally and displayed in banners. This interface was improved in that it outputted at 480i standard definition, though gameplay remained outputted at 240p. The second and more significant change is being able to pick your playstyle, single versus or double, and your difficulty without inputting a hidden code. This was a decidedly less obtuse and warmly welcomed change. Oh, and let me tell ya, doubles play is not easy. Try not to pull a muscle or fall off the stage. Evaluation was another aspect that saw major changes in Fourth Mix. The ranking and scoring systems have both been retooled this time around, going from the first 3 mixes E to SSS rank range to a D to AA range. The better your timing, the better your rank and score. The song list is as strong here as it was in the first 3 games. Personal favorites of mine being 12007 by Nini,
1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 7. All the good guys go to heaven. 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, hey. All the rest can go away.
Kuruhata Ninzaburo, and Rhythm and Police, both by CJ Crew. The latter 2 are remixes of the theme songs from 2 different 90s Japanese police TV shows, though it doesn't explain why Rhythm and Police has cut the drugs in its lyrics or why its maniac pattern has exactly 420 steps. Anyone else sensing a conspiracy here? Standout Konami original titles include Be For You, Burn in the Floor, and My Summer Love. All once again composed by our good old friend Naoki. Fourth Mix also has its own updated version, Fourth Mix Plus. This would be the last of the Plus updates, and the last time for a long time that updates would be a practice in the mainline DDR arcade titles. Thanks to its expansion of the original song list, Fourth Mix Plus brings the total up to 150 songs, the largest of any DDR game at the time. The final game of DDR's First Era, Fifth Mix, was released in March of 2001, and with it came more significant changes than what Fourth Mix had, which I guess fits for the end of an era. The game does away with the jukebox aesthetics from first to fourth mix and opts for a more modern look. Everything is brighter this time around, with a livelier color palette and more upbeat background music. The interfaces are drastically different, now with a vertically rotating song select menu known as the song wheel. The game also marks the first time that the beat per minute value is displayed, which helps players distinguish a song's speed. The second and more permanent change is the evaluation system. The rank range is gone from D to AA to E to AAA, and would be carried over to all subsequent DDR titles. By far the biggest introduction that 5th Mix brought to the plate was a smooth 60 frames per second, making it the first arcade title to run at that frame rate. The song list is slightly smaller, going from 4th Mix's 150 songs to 122. To some players' dismay, majority of the songs from the first 3 mixes have been excluded in this mix, with only 20 of them returning. Just as sadly, all but one of the licensed songs and 5 of the Konami original songs in this game would not be returning in future DDR titles. A shame, since there are a lot of quality tracks here. 5th Mix is the game where the series started to lean more towards Eurobeat, with a handful of its songs falling under that genre. Tracks like Romance no Kami-sama or God of Romance by Judy Crystal and Hot Limit by John Desire are both Eurobeat songs. Konami originals from this mix worth mentioning are Healing Vision, Matsuri Japan, and Paranoia Eternal. Composed by, you guessed it, Naoki. Except for Paranoia. Well, Naoki kicked the series off, but this one installment was courtesy of Takeshi Matsumoto, an entrant for the Konami-sanctioned Dance Dance Revolution 5th Mix Artist Edition and the winner of the Paranoia Remixing Contest held as part of the edition. 5th Mix is also the first and so far only game to have extended songs, which is to say, songs that clock in at 3 minutes in length. For reference, the average song length is around 1.5 minutes. In keeping with the standards for arcade etiquette, extended songs are only available on the penultimate stage of a normal arcade run and count as 2 songs instead of 1. This prevents game sessions from lasting longer than they need to. It's a nice novelty that I believe is sorely missing in the newer DDR mixes. And that's pretty much the first era of Dance Dance Revolution. Join me next time as we segue into the second era. The games in question, DDR Max, DDR Max 2, and Dance Dance Revolution Extreme. Stay tuned.